Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. For this installment, the tarot cards I'm using are the Gilded Tarot Royale by Ciro Marchetti. Is it Ciro? Yep. And then text by Barbara Moore. Where is the website? Is it at the bottom? Yeah. Social media links and all that good stuff is at the bottom. I don't remember what it is. I want to say it's like Hay House or something. Or is that US Games? Llewellyn? Should be right there. Is it Llewellyn? Llewellyn. You saw it. Supportive Oracle cards. You are Clairvoyant Oracle cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. Website on the back here, rockpoolpublishing.com.au. A as an apple, U as an umbrella. Freeze frame on that and check it out if you're interested. The dice I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana. I substitute 22 for 0 for the Fool. And then I use 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and I use a 4-sided dice to choose the element. This is where they came from. The dice shop and the website is mathartfun.com. Feel free to check that out if you are so interested. That being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. And with that out of the way, let's go on to your reading. Hello, Sagittarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Sagittarius? Where's that leading to? Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm just putting out a couple more cards, but okay. This, like, it's reiterating a couple things here. It's reiterating a couple things. Something about the situation currently I feel like you don't like and you feel trapped in it. If this reading is going to hit, I feel like I'm blocked, barred, or like I can't get into something. I got to get over there and I can't get over there. It just reminds me of like, I don't know why this memory's popping in other, well, it's a good analogy. When I was a kid, I remember this one time, there's this river that lives near my house, and my friends were on the other side, and I was on one side, and I think a couple of them swam over. I don't know how the rest of them got over there, but I'm looking at this river, and I was like, no. I just remember looking at this like, no, I'm not, no. Nope. I just remember that, like, nope, not going to be doing that. So it feels like that right now with this energy, kind of like you're on one side of the river, they're on the other side, and you're like, yeah, no. And you're kind of thinking, and I'm trying to think, like, I'm remembering at the time, I was like, well, I could go over there, and I'd be a ways down, and I think there's a bridge, but by the time I get over there, they're not going to be there. Or, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, by the time I get over there, whatever they're doing is going to be done. I just feel like this is how I feel like I'm on one side of the river, other people on the other side, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. That's the block card here. And I feel like I've tried to be patient with the situation. The thing with Sagittarius energies, you don't tend to be idle, in my opinion. It's kind of like, well, I can't do that right now, I guess I'll do this. I can't do that right now, I guess I'll do this. You keep yourself busy, but this situation is kind of like, it's becoming a problem. It's kind of like the gears are starting to grind. Things are starting to come to a halt. This situation isn't moving forward because that over there needs to get done, and I can't get over there. And the people who are over there aren't doing it. And I'm not happy about that. I'm getting, this card is like the weather. The weather is like, you know, it could last a couple days, but it will pass. That's kind of what I'm saying. Even seasons, if you talk about the type of weather you have during a season, seasons do come, seasons go. You know, it's not always the same season. Like, even if you live on the equator, I feel like it, you know, things change a little bit, don't they? I don't know. I've never lived on the equator that I recall. I'm not happy with people. When I get the friendship card, I'm not happy with people. I feel like I expect certain people to do things, and I'm very unhappy with them because things are not happening. I'm not happy with that. It's a passing moment. It is a passing moment. Things are reconstituting here. Things are realigning. The way I understand Sagittarius, I don't think of Sagittarius as patient. If I'm wrong, you'll let me know in the comments, I'm sure. I feel like you just keep yourself busy. Like, it's not like you want to be patient. It's just like, well, that's not working. I'll just go do this. This situation, it does kind of need some patience. Because I feel like whatever it is, it needs to churn a little bit more. Things around you aren't moving. It's not making you happy. You're definitely not happy. But I'm getting like the page coming in with the Six of Cups. Like, something here is going to go to your advantage. It needs to kind of get its roots a little bit better. So there's things and there's changes that are going to actually suit the situation better. And this card was on top of it. There's personal transformation. People are kind of getting used to a new phase coming in. A lot of earth energy coming in. Earth is really... Usually it's difficult for Sagittarius to work with earth. Sagittarius is very random, gets a lot done, but like does this, does that. Not everything Sagittarius does comes to fruition. It just doesn't. And earth is kind of like, no, if we're going to do it, we're going to finish it. So if we start it, it's going to be finished. That's kind of like Sagittarius isn't kind of like that. Earth is like that. Sagittarius is like, let's see how far we can go with that. Okay, let me go do this. I'll do a little bit of that. I'll do a little bit of this. Sagittarius is very lucky and very fortunate, but tends to be all over the place, but it just tends to work in your benefit long term. Earth has a hard time with that. That might be another kind of conflict with this situation. Like, the situation is moving slowly and needs time to germinate. Okay. Okay. Strength card coming forward. This fell out of the deck. This was a jumper. Something's coming forward. Somebody's going to move something forward. Other things are coming in. There might be another person coming into this situation that I was not expecting. Okay. I feel like with this situation, somebody is jumping into this situation. The Tower card, I personally don't always read it like a bad thing. I think it depends what you're dealing with. Definitely a shock. Definitely kind of like an upset. But once it settles, it might be like, oh, actually, this is cool. You know what I mean? It might be kind of like one... I feel like this is what this is going to be. Kind of like, oh, they're getting involved? Oh, no. Oh God. What's going to... Oh, okay, that's good. Like, I feel like this is how this is going to go. I feel like this is a person. Very strong person. Jumping in from nowhere is how that kind of feels. It doesn't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I feel like initially I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. And then I'm like, oh. Oh, okay. Okay. There's burdens coming in with this. I understand that. This next part does feel kind of complicated to me. Because we got the Knight of Cups kind of like, all right, the situation hasn't been doing what it needs to do. It's just not been progressing. Which Sagittarius, for your reading, you're like, yeah, I know. You're like, yeah, I know, I don't like it. Let's see if we can shake this up a bit. It's going to create some stress, but there's success with this stress. There's also some trust that's... I feel like we're building trust. I feel like this might be a moment to build more trust. So the stress coming in, the opportunities to build trust. Because it's over to the side. It's like building trust with the situation. Now, for you, there's advice to be careful of. Don't be adverse. Don't be adverse to something, and do make sure you speak. That's interesting. Random energy is fine, usually, for Sagittarius. Don't hold on too tightly, ironically, is what it's saying. If for some reason you might feel like you need to, this is weird. I feel like this is an odd one. Hopefully I can make sense of this. Don't hold on too tightly to how you feel like it's supposed to go. What they're saying to do is to definitely stay very vocal in the process, though, but don't hold on too tightly to how you think it's supposed to go. Let the situation evolve, let go of it a couple times, but then grab it again. Like, it's kind of like, I feel like I'm playing soccer. Kick the ball out to other people, but make sure you get the ball back every now and then. Versus, like, the other way would be like, I'm controlling the ball the whole way down. I'm telling people, like, all right, I'm going to kick it to you, you kick it to them, they're going to kick it back to me. Like, that's the earth way. That's too much. Kick the ball out there, see where it goes, play along the field, roll with it, see where it ends up, and when you can add into it, get the ball and add into it, try to make that goal. Versus, like, trying to direct the whole thing, like, all right, listen, player 2, I'm going to kick it to you, player 2, you're going to kick it to player 5. And then when it's down at the other end, somehow player 5 and player 2, you work together to get it to player 7, and then I'll go over here to the side, player 7 will kick it to me, and then I'll get that goal the way I want it. You don't want to be that controlled with it. You want to go with your natural strengths. Kick it out in the field, let's get it down the field however we need to do, and then, you know, whoever makes the goal makes the goal as long as it's a goal. I hope that analogy was good. Because it's kind of like, be more fluid, be more open to it just evolving the way it's going to evolve on its own. Let go of it a little bit more and realize it's still on the field. As long as it's still in the field, you'll be fine. Don't hold it too tightly to, like, certain rules you feel like have to happen. Or it's kind of like, you know, I haven't played soccer in a few decades, quite frankly. I want to say that there's, like, rules that, like, certain people are only supposed to go so far down the field. I don't know if they're allowed to, how far they're allowed to go, but I want to say the goalie is not supposed to go past the halfway mark. I'm not really sure. So it's kind of like, instead of saying the goalie has to stay right in the goalie's bin, let the goalie do what the goalie's going to do. Kind of like, oh, I don't know if I like that. We might get scored on, but, you know, when applicable, we'll kind of do it that way. Be open to it more. That's Sagittarius' natural energy, but for some reason it's kind of like, I feel like there's certain parameters I believe have to be there. Let those parameters be ignored for a while. You know what I mean? Let them kind of go where they're going to go. So I'm going to use soccer again as a friendly game. Maybe in the technical game, the goalie's not supposed to go past the goal line. But it's kind of like, you know, since it's a friendly game, if the goalie wants to go across the field, as long as somebody else gets back there and protects the goal, we're fine. Whatever you got to do it. Letting things like that happen, realizing it's a friendly game, it's a friendly connection, letting people do what they want to do, kind of like, well, as long as somebody back there protects the goal, if the goalie wants to go all the way to the other side of the field, I guess that's fine. As long as there's people back there looking out, just make sure y'all look out, make sure somebody's back there. Like, being open to those type of things, like if it was a friendly game, which I can already see some people going, no. But this situation is advancing in its own direction. There's something coming out of this situation that comes out of it a lot easier by you just letting it do its natural thing. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's because of what the subject matter is or something, because I really feel Sagittarius is usually very open and very fluid, but for some reason I feel like I have to hold to certain boundaries, which are actually strangling the situation, which is really odd for Sag to do that. But by letting it be more open, it goes where it's naturally supposed to go, and the influence comes in, and people move forward the way they need to. Due to changes coming up in the way that people want to do things, I do feel like we have to look at the boundaries and redefine boundaries because of it. We may have to redefine boundaries because of it. That being said, even though it's going to feel like things are changing really quickly, these are long-term goals that we have to test to see if they actually work. And I do get the Goddess card coming in, like this is a good thing. We're redefining boundaries. This situation is supposed to redefine boundaries. Again, I feel like Sagittarius is usually open to this, but for some reason I feel like this is a little bit stressful for you. if this reading is hitting. This situation is supposed to go there. It's naturally what it's supposed to do. It's for the best for everybody involved, for the boundaries to be redefined. But there's something, I'm still kind of shocked that that's how this is coming across for Sagittarius. You guys are usually more fluid, but there's a reason for it. I get that there's a reason for it. Okay, so you got the Five of Wands, and you got the Wheel of Fortune. Five of Wands especially. Okay, I see. Okay, all right. So, how I interpret Sag. Sag is more of a pleasurable, let's get along energy. Will they deal with things if they have to? Yes, especially if it's right in your face, you'll deal with it, whatever. But you prefer to get along with people. You prefer to, like, instead of, like, arguing it out, let's just fix it. Let's just get it done. We don't need to have these big blowout fights. That's the base Sagittarius energy as I understand it. And by redefining these boundaries, I feel like these boundaries, the way they've been set up to this point, have kept things more compatible, have kept people getting along better. It seems like it's made more sense down the road. And it's kind of like by adding in this variable, it kind of gets the Wheel of Fortune going in there. There's just like things we just can't predict, and there's things that could get out of control. There could be conflict here. There could be problems here. I don't want this type of conflict here. I'm worried that conflict might become more of a way of life than just a one-off here and there. Whatever these boundaries are, it opens things to a more possibly unruly situation. And I do feel like that makes me nervous. Like, I don't want to create a situation that causes a lot of combative possibilities. I feel like that might be why you're kind of against it. Kind of like, yeah, but people, if they're left to their own devices too much, or they're giving too much leeway, I feel like they could easily cause problems, and then this person gets upset with that person. It reminds me of, like, having a family of 5 kids, and, like, you know, if we just let them, you know, every now and then just, like, do what you want for lunch, you know, there's sandwiches already made, like, there's, like, maybe there's bread and cold cuts and cheese out there and some condiments. You know, make any sandwich you want. The older ones can help the younger ones make soup if they want to heat up some soup in the microwave, but microwave only. Nobody's using the stove. Like, having rules like that. Maybe that's the normal rules, but it's kind of like, all right, you know, we're gonna do something different now. It's kind of like those are the rules that I knew that they would be safe, and it's kind of like, well, you have 5 kids. And maybe, you know, they're from 14 to 6 are the ages. And it's kind of like, all right, the new rules we're going to do is, like, the oldest 2 are allowed to do things on the stove. As long as the younger 3 listen. And whatever the oldest 2 feel like they can handle, we'll allow that. And y'all can have whatever you want. As long as the older 2 are in control. And you listen to the younger 3 listen to the older 2. Although I'm Gen X, so maybe that was more of a thing in my time than it is in this time. But still, it's kind of like, all right, but we do that, we have more potential for problems. More potential for the kids getting what they actually want, but also more potential for problems. And I can understand why that would be scary, because I feel like it's something like that. I don't know if that's a good analogy. I hope that's a good analogy. But I feel like that's why maybe you're adverse to it, because it's kind of like, yeah, but we open ourselves up to other possible dangers that it's kind of like if they just shut up and eat their sandwich, I feel like I know they're okay and everybody had something to eat, so let's just move on from it. By opening this door where I'm letting the older 2 use the stove and stuff like that, there's more potential for danger. Even though I know that they're safe, and I taught them myself, and I know that they adhere to that, I feel like I'm more nervous about it. I feel like that's why you might be adverse to it. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.